What's up?
Not much. It's almost Christmas for
It's
people who
almost
celebrate that,
Christmas
I guess.
indeed, yes, or other holidays, and Happy New Year almost.
Happy
Um,
holiday season.
yes, it's a lovely time of year, but I guess not if you are Byte Dance,
Or work at
um,
TikTok, maybe.
or work at TikTok. You might be feeling a little stressed out.
Yeah.
First, shout out to
Oh,
Piglet Tube
hello.
first.
You win.
Um,
We'll give you an award.
Win W's in the chat for Piglet. So yeah, tell us where you guys are, first of all, in the world. Are you home for the holidays right now? Have you gone anywhere? Where are you celebrating from this year? Grace, where are you at?
I'm actually in Virginia visiting family, so kind of near
Nice.
DC. Jack and I swapped places, swapped coasts. Where are you, Jack?
Yeah, I'm in California, obviously. Apparently, where I live in California, it's going to be the warmest weather in the entire country.
Oh, whoa.
I've been hearing that some people, like Judy is saying, 0 degrees feels like -24. Right now here, it's 65. So sorry to everyone else.
You're just in a different world right now.
I know. But happy holidays. But we're not here to talk about the holidays. No. We're here to talk about some hot gossip.
TikTok tea.
TikTok tea. Yeah, big news. TikTok potentially getting banned. There's a bill in Congress right now to ban TikTok on government devices. And it's starting to cause a stir again about whether or not TikTok could be banned on a larger scale. We've seen this in other countries. We've seen this from universities now. So it's heating up. And this was a conversation that happened a couple of years ago as well. And we're back here again. So let's get to it.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely giving me flashbacks, I will say, from 2020 when this whole stuff, all of it was happening. I don't know if any of you guys remember, but there's like literally a day where everyone thought TikTok was going to be banned and everyone was writing like goodbye videos on TikTok. It was depressing.
It reminds me of it reminds me of like a decade ago when there would be like posts on Instagram or Facebook. They'd be like, Facebook is going to start charging people to use its service. Like, post this so you don't get charged or something. But this is actually maybe more realistic. So yes, as Linda in the chat is saying, aren't they just banning it on government devices? That's been happening in Canada forever. Yes, so as you can read this if you'd like to. I'll just give you the synopsis. But right now, it's probably not going to affect your use of TikTok for now. It's only on government-issued devices. And it's happening because ByteDance, they're worried that they could be giving data and information to the Chinese Communist Party to spy on Americans. Yes, so we're back here again, although this time, this happened a couple years ago and never actually happened. It seems like it's actually probably going to be happening right now. There is a bill in Congress that is likely to pass. And yes, so we're going to talk about today what this means for creators.
Yeah, and I think like there's at least 15 states, I think, have talked about banning it on government devices, and more states are jumping on the bandwagon. But there is that bigger discussion of like banning TikTok entirely for the whole country. So I think right now it's mostly around the government devices. But yeah, there's definitely risk for the whole app. I wouldn't, just think it's only government stuff.
Yeah, well, we can also take a look. Yes, I was about to pull up an article, but you beat me to it. TikTok in India is already banned in similar apps, which is really interesting. So yeah, I think a lot of people wonder sometimes, like, is it even possible for TikTok to become banned like on such a large scale? And
Right.
while it is different, I think America, there's such a value on like freedom and freedom of choice, and so I think it would be a huge deal if they completely banned TikTok. But
Mhm.
in India, which has a population that's probably 3 times as big as America, they've been able to do it successfully. So there's nothing like technologically that's stopping
Mhm.
America from doing the same,
Mhm.
which is pretty interesting.
And like in 2020, I think I was just reading that I didn't realize that like Trump did sign some executive order to actually ban TikTok. Like they signed it, it was kind of in motion, but TikTok sued the government over that and then it just never got resolved. So I think
Mm,
it's yeah, maybe we can get into like the question of, is it possible at all and what would stop
yes.
it? But
Yeah.
um yeah.
What do you
I
think?
guess
I mean, I feel like this is mostly an opinion-based question, but
yeah. Also, if you're in the comments, please share your opinions. I think this is a really interesting question. I think like the government can put put orders in place to like effectively ban something, but yeah, like a lawsuit, if the lawsuit happens again, TikTok is a big company in the US. They have a big presence. They're still hiring a ton of people even as all like these big tech companies are laying off. So I think I think the reason we probably haven't seen TikTok get banned yet is because of that presence. I was reading
mm,
some articles that were saying like TikTok might be too big to ban. I don't think
mm,
that's necessarily true. Like I think it could happen if the US like government really forced it into place, but I think that there is something to be said about like TikTok is a huge company. They have a big presence now and like they're
yeah,
used by millions of people here. So I don't think it would be an easy process by any means, but I think it's still possible. What about you?
yeah, yeah. Well, it also brings up the question, like, how would they? Uh, I don't know, like, how would they like make sure that people aren't on TikTok? Because I think there's, everyone. It feels like everyone now has like a VPN. They're literally marketed on like every YouTube video ever.
Right.
They're very cheap, if not free. You can get them on your
Mhm.
phones or your laptops. Like, I feel like there's no way to ensure that people actually don't use it. I mean, well, maybe that's
Right.
not true. I don't know. I just don't really have much like knowledge, I guess, as to
Mhm.
how a government could completely ban a website or an app. I mean, several governments do that. India has done
Yeah,
it for TikTok. China does it for
a
many
lot.
different apps and censorship. Yeah. So I don't know if there's like ways to get around that, but it seems like there would probably be a way to get around it.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think there's, like, probably it would be hard to completely ensure, like, every person is not using it at all, but I guess, like, you could be using it illegally if TikTok was
Yeah.
banned, and then, that you have to suffer consequences if they catch you or something. Um, I also just wonder, like, what would happen to TikTok, the company that's, like, based in the US, like, I don't know how many people are employed by them here, but it's at least thousands, I'm pretty sure, and, like,
Yeah.
would they just have to stop operating? And I don't know, yeah, I feel like that's, like, a huge question too, is, like, where do they go from here? Um,
Yeah.
Definitely a
Yeah.
gnarly issue.
Yeah. I mean, a part of me wonders like if they can more strictly like separate TikTok US and a
Mm,
TikTok from ByteDance and sort of like incorporate as its own company, that still gives like, I don't know, like residuals or something to the
yeah.
inventor, but
Mhm.
not, uh I don't know, but still like is not under the like, I don't know how to explain
Ownership,
it,
yeah.
under the ownership of like the Chinese, uh or privy to the Chinese like government if they ask. Pretty much the issue is that if the Chinese government asks ByteDance for anything, they have to give it to them. So
Right.
all the data that you've given to TikTok is all up for grabs theoretically. But I wonder if there's ways to get around that.
I feel like we are not even like 100% sure that is what would happen too. Like I think that's what these people who are pushing for the government ban and like the bigger ban, they're saying like, oh yeah, China could just access any US data because they officially own TikTok, but I'm not sure that we have like 100% like truthful evidence of, or like, confirming that data would be
Yeah,
visible to the Chinese government. But it definitely is scary. I think like most of this discussion is anxiety based. It's like kind of fear based and
yeah,
gets really into like geopolitical tensions, which I think it's interesting because a
totally.
lot of people think of like, oh, it's just a platform. Like the content is, it's like it is what it is. Twitter is Twitter, TikTok is TikTok, but like these platforms are companies and they are run by
Yeah,
people who live in our world. I think we forget that sometimes, and like especially
yeah,
in light of all the Twitter stuff too. It's like, yeah, these platforms are fallible and they're not just gonna like exist forever just because they have like millions or billions of users. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think I completely agree. I don't even know if there's tons of evidence that are like what data is even being collected and what people are scared of. Um,
Yeah.
do you, and I think it's still though like a reasonable concern, obviously. Um, like I would be concerned about, if they can figure out from my like IP address, like where I live, and if they can, use the data of like my face, I guess. And we're getting into this AI world. Like, could they
Mm. Mhm.
use me as like a model for some
Mhm.
AI thing? Like that kind of worries me. Um, do you worry about your data being collected by TikTok right now? And if so, what are you worried about?
Mhm. I don't actively worry specifically about TikTok just because they're owned by a Chinese company. I would say I think I worry about data being collected in general for like across any app.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
yeah, so I think that's an interesting thing too is like why are they're it's intentional that the lawmakers or the people proposing these bans are like latching onto TikTok. I saw someone tweet the other day, I was that like, why are we just talking about TikTok? We should be talking about like no company should be able to just have like an external government just like ask for data whenever they want, like why aren't we working on the bigger conversation? um I think that's kind of true. Like I don't worry specifically about TikTok. I worry about all of them being able to and it's not just my personal data, it's like macro level data because these algorithms really sway like how society thinks and like the culture we live in. So if they have some ulterior motives or even if they're not ulterior, they just have a lot of power over
Hmm.
what we see, what we consume, how we basically react to that. So I think I worry about it on the macro level sense.
Right. Yeah, like
Yeah.
sort of like Linda is saying here,
Hmm.
there's a lot of like AI algorithms that police and remove content online. I kind of worry about that as well in terms of like censorship. I guess more specifically, yeah, with the Chinese government in this case. You know, they're known for censoring news, history,
Hmm.
um, things like that. I know recently there was actually an interview with Jake Tapper from CNN
Oh
with
yeah.
this. I think it was like the head of global something at TikTok, and he kept
Yeah.
asking. He was like, "Why does the content about this like Uyghur genocide in China keep getting banned?" And the guy like wouldn't say anything. And that
Right.
even was in TikTok America. So yeah, I
Mm.
do worry about like they have such a powerful tool to feed the information that they want and not what they don't want, which I think can be dangerous for any
Right.
government. But um, so yeah, I do worry about the censorship aspect, I think.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wonder if like maybe all major tech companies, I don't know if they do have this and TikTok just doesn't or just big tech companies don't have this right now, but yeah, like some sort of external agency or even government officials that can look inside the company and like see what they're doing with the algorithm, because they can, like TikTok themselves can put out whatever statement about how they censor content or like remove content for that's harmful, but at the end of the day they also can do what they want with their product and algorithm. So it's like, if we don't have any actual insight into that process, it's just a black box, like we just have to go
Yeah.
off what they say, which shouldn't be the case when you have so much influence over like the whole population of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's the big tech is just getting bigger and bigger and having more power. And like TikTok got so much power really quickly. So I think people are like paying more attention to them. But I mean, sometimes I wonder that about like, obviously Facebook's in the news a lot in the past few years, and even Google, Amazon, like all these big companies. How are they like making their algorithm? Yeah, it's a black box.
Yeah. I think, let's just throw ourselves into the scenario that TikTok actually does get banned. Like, let's say that America does a nationwide TikTok ban, which seems insane, but you know what? I guess crazier things have happened. What do you think the reception would be? What do you think would happen? And do you think that the reception would be so bad that this isn't even possible?
I think people would definitely be pissed. Like I think especially since 2020, like more and more people have begun relying on TikTok and just these social media platforms for income, for like brand awareness and brand deals. So I think there would be a huge chunk of people that would lose like a decent amount of income through if TikTok was banned. They didn't have that like platform for communicating anymore. Which I think like maybe I don't really know the numbers of creators who are like getting an actual salary through TikTok, but that could like have repercussions for the whole economy, like if it's like thousands or even millions of people, that would be a little scary. But I think besides that, like TikTok has such a specific culture for content, and I think Instagram Reels and Shorts and these other platforms have tried to replicate that, and it hasn't really been the same. So I think there would be kind of like a mourning of like, would we ever be able to recreate that culture? Is there something specific to TikTok, like the platform itself and the features that created that culture that might be harder to replicate somewhere else? Who knows? I mean, I think we saw a similar thing with Vine. Like Vine, when Vine died, everyone was like really sad, and people are still sad about it. And maybe Twitter will bring it back, but I think there would definitely be anger and sadness.
Yeah, agreed. I think also, I don't know. I think it would be, I think anger for sure. And I think one of the reasons that I actually don't think this is very likely or possible is because I don't think like both Democrats and Republicans would want to anger like the country this much, that like I think they think it could probably hurt voting. I feel like, if Democrats banned it sort of themselves and Republicans were like, you are, this is your fault, then that's a bad look, and vice versa, same thing. So I wonder like if they wouldn't even try, but I agree. I think the reception would be insane. I feel like maybe teens, maybe it would like vitalize the teens to get politically involved.
Interesting.
Which is interesting, but I think I do feel like it would probably have a ton of repercussions, not just on the people, but like you were saying earlier, like how we, I don't know, how we like view tech in the world, and also like on a governmental standpoint, like how we, like review tech and how we sort of even throttle it, because
I think
we censor it.
Right. And I think it brings back this discussion of like, should we even have social media platforms like this that are kind of they're important for communicating, not just within a country, but like internationally across borders? Like, should they even be centralized into like a company or an organization. Like I think this idea
Mhm.
of like maybe decentralized social media platforms would become
Right.
more of a thing, because it's like why do we keep letting this happen? You know, it's like
Right.
Facebook, Twitter, TikTok now, like all of them have
Yeah.
been under fire for a while, and it's like this, we shouldn't let this happen moving forward.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of like sort of right now the movement from Twitter. We've seen a big movement from Twitter to Mastodon,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
yeah, sort of this like decentralized, open source platform. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say it's on the scale of Twitter, but
Right.
we are seeing a rise in things like that, and I think like that's another uh, reason that people really liked the idea of crypto, which obviously that's seen a huge decline. But like, I think one of the reasons people like it at all is because it does have those decentralized values. So we
Yeah.
might see that same rise in social media platforms, which would be really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would
Mhm.
almost be nice, like if like a nonprofit or something maybe even like ran social medias. Like Wikipedia is a
That's
nonprofit, and
true.
like you don't see them having too much like drama.
That's
But
fair. That's fair. Yeah, honestly, I don't know that much about the story of like how Wikipedia grew or was founded, or but I think definitely more moving towards something like that would feel like more secure, at least. Like I think at the end of the day, like what all of this news makes creators feel is just insecure about like where they should be posting, where they can actually like build an audience and like build a career doing what they're trying to do on social media platforms. And I think until that question of like where like there is a place that you can make a stable income and grow an audience and not have to worry every week or every month that like this platform's going to die, or like your
yeah.
content's going to get like banned by the algorithm. I think until that question there's like a solid answer that most people are saying like is the answer. And maybe YouTube is that place right now where you can like really build your career. um
hmm
I think there would be so many people that don't become like full-time creators or don't even try creating because it just feels like fruitless at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally. I think to wrap this conversation up, like, what can creators do about this? Even though it's probably unlikely that TikTok gets banned on a national level, I think what
Yeah.
Grace is saying is spot on, which is like you need to diversify where you're posting, because you never know when a ultra billionaire is going to buy out a platform, and it's going to, you know, like almost, I mean, it's not like Twitter is vanished, but like it's possible that it
Yeah.
goes downhill,
Right.
or um, yeah, maybe TikTok, um, maybe the government throttles some of the algorithmic capabilities of TikTok, and
Mhm.
that starts to lose significance. So, I think, yeah, just making sure that you're posting everywhere that you can, and trying to build an audience across all platforms. So if one goes down, you still have those people elsewhere and somewhere to reach them. Um,
Yeah, and I think adding on to that, another interesting trend I've seen is that more and more people are moving towards going back to like email lists and newsletters,
mm,
because you can't fully trust any social media platform now. So the best thing you could do is like, yeah, obviously diversify, but also like
yeah,
actually know who the people that care about you are by having their emails and being able to contact
yeah,
them with information if you were to, even if the platform doesn't die, but like a lot of people are getting banned on Twitter, like journalists, right? And so that's,
or just
you don't want
leaving.
to, yeah, yeah, or just
Like
leaving.
I deleted Twitter off my phone. So
Wow. So
yeah,
plug
agreed.
your newsletter.
Yeah, plug your newsletter in the chat.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, definitely
yeah,
want to make sure you have like who cares about you. Make sure you have a way to contact them that is not on a social media platform. Good old
yeah.
email
Maybe
is
the
always
maybe
there.
the social media rise to fame that
Yeah.
maybe it's over. Maybe this is the last one, and
Whoa,
we're
that'd be
moving back
wild.
to other connection practices. Still
Yeah.
online, but not
Right,
social
right.
media. I don't know.
Hmm. Some food for thought as
Blogs.
you, yeah, blogs, like Tumblr's a thing again. I guess that's kind of a blog.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think social media is going to change a lot in the next few years for sure. It's already started.
Yeah. Always has.
Yep.
I feel like every few years social media has been insane.
That's
But
true.
all right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you don't get banned on any platforms, and hopefully we're all happy and everything's good. Happy holidays to everyone and to you, Grace.
Woo! Yeah, you too, Jack. Hope everyone gets to take some time to rest, reflect. I don't know if people do New Year's resolutions, but it's okay if you don't. You can start anytime.
So true. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yep.
All right.
See ya.
Later.